Douglas,
Yeah, we are good to go. Firstly, I'd like to wish everyone a very happy new year.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome to the first AMA of 2022. I hope everyone had a good time. Good Christmas, good New Year. I know we did here. It was a quiet one for me. I'm not so sure about Doglord, but quiet New Year for me. Still been doing a bit of work over the holiday period, but it's been a bit more relaxed for once, for the first time in a little while. But we're back to the office tomorrow, so there'll be a lot of work getting done. And we don't really stop anyway, even through the holidays. We're sort of always on calls and always working. But yeah, maybe we can get started. Is there anything you wanted to add from your side, Doglord?
No, we can get started with the updates.
Okay, so the first big update with the game. So as a lot of you will know, the alpha testers, we've been having some teething issues with moving over to the new networking. We've also added the hard fork in the most recent update. So we've added more weapons, and actually over the next couple of weeks, the 3D team and the design team are adding a lot more weapons to the game. So you should begin to see a lot more content with regards to items and weapons within the game to make it a little bit more exciting. And we're working on the combat mechanics as well. But I do want to say about the bugginess with the new networking. The reason for that is it's designed for a dedicated server setup, and the way we're running it right now is we're in touch with Photon, the people that are actually created the networking that we're using, and they assured us that the way that we're doing it should work for testing, and we developed it that way to be faster for testing. It's basically peer-to-peer networking. So there's a centralized server, but it doesn't do much. And basically one of the players that are playing acts as the server. It works for fast development and it works for testing. Of course, the final game will be on a dedicated server that's an authoritative server and it's much more secure. But for testing, we did it like this for speed. But unfortunately, it doesn't work very well in that mode. So what we're doing this week is actually setting up the dedicated server and making sure that everything is going to be running essentially the way that it will be running in future. So hopefully all of those bugs, rather than trying to fix them for the P2P sort of networking method that we're using right now, again, we did switch to the new networking. So this is P2P, but on the new networking, which is a sort of workaround. It's not designed to work that way. But yeah, we'll be moving over to full dedicated server, hopefully within a week. And that should resolve these server issues that people are having. So I just wanted to clear that up. And yeah, more weapons and more content coming to the game. We also have a team member on board right now to work on the onboarding process. He's worked on several games in the past. He was part of the World of Warcraft team, part of Game of Thrones, the most recent Game of Thrones game, and he's going to be coming on basically to build out the quest system, so that we have a fully fledged quest system that regular content creators can make quests, rather than them having to be coded out by a developer. That's one of the key things that we're doing here to ensure that we can have a content team that are able to manage all the in-game content without having to write a single line of code. And that's extremely important for the scalability and the flexibility in the future of the quests. So that's something that we're building out again over the next month or so. And hopefully, definitely within Q1, we'll be able to, have the quest system complete and in the game. And also the full onboarding process. So teaching you how to play the game when you first come in, like teaching you how to mint weapons, teaching you how to summon, how to attack, all of these different things. There'll be a full onboarding process and an education sort of system within the game to teach you how to play. That's sort of what's going on the development side. Is there anything you had to add to that, Doglord? Oh, also the website. So we have Shahid on board as sort of in-house SEO specialist and also sort of CMO at the moment. We've not given him an official title yet, but he's basically CMO. And he's in fully redesigning the entire website from an SEO perspective, ensuring basically that we can get up to an enterprise level standard of our website, which no other crypto projects have, especially in the GameFi. Not a single GameFi, even if you go up to the very top, which like Illuvium, Axie Infinity, no one has sort of enterprise level websites with the content and SEO structuring that big companies do. Like if you look at someone like Expedia or Hotels.com, that's the sort of projects that this guy has worked on before. So we can get that level of SEO and that level of content and professionalism on the website. And that's what we're also working on from a web perspective in January. January and start of February for Bezoge.com and Bezogia.com. It'll be Bezoge.com first. So that's what we're working on internally with regards to actual software development. Did you have anything to add, Doglord, from the like from the marketing perspective and community perspective?
We're gonna. Okay, no, not much. I can't disclose. There's a lot of NDAs in process now.
I know there is. But one thing that I would say is, with this new guy on board in charge of marketing, you'll begin to see in Q1 this year a lot of marketing activities more streamlined. We're tracking the data of everything that we're doing. So we do have the Polish boxing event this week. I don't know if Oscar is on the call. Maybe he can come on and give more information about it. Oscar, if you're on, then put your hand up and I'll let you speak about it because you're in charge of that. You have more information. But we're sponsoring, much like we sponsored the Globe Soccer Awards, we're also sponsoring a boxing event in Poland, which is expected to have about 1 million views, 1 million viewers watching it, and we'll be one of the main sponsor of the event, I believe. So I think that's this week. I don't know that Oscar knows all the exact details, but he could go over that. But one thing that we're doing with the new marketing guy is every event, everything that we do, we're tracking all of the data and ensuring that everything is working efficiently, and so we can measure the results of all these sponsorships and decide how we move forward and whether they're actually bringing traffic to the website, and we're actually measuring every single event and every marketing activity that we do now at a sort of enterprise level with a lot of tracking. And that will be, again, implemented even deeper on the new website and all of the game, everything, so that we can track the traffic and we can know exactly which markets we want to be in, localize for those, and we can be ahead of the game. And I think we're going to have basically the best in class website of any crypto project that I know. We should basically be able to rank on any keyword that we want to rank on. We should be able to do it with a bit of work, and the goal is basically to dominate the entire market. So we'll be able to, let's say, take the Philippines, and we'll just be able to be number one on every search result, basically, that would bring traffic. That's the goal. That's the end goal with the website, to build it out to the point that we just get a whole load of organic traffic, because no one is doing it. If you research into all these other websites and the big projects, not a single one is doing this. So we can be ahead of them on that and set a new standard for how a website should be and web presence should be. So I think it's quite exciting, actually. If I could show you what we're doing, I would. It'll be a bit of a secret, but the level of content that we'll have on the website and the entire structure is mind blowing. So you should be able to see that very soon. I think that's it from our side. Maybe we can open up to questions, unless you have anything you want to add, Doglord.
No, I think we've covered everything. We could open up for questions now.
Okay. So does anyone have any questions? Hopefully they do. People are very quiet this week.
I think everyone's recovering from a New Year party, I guess.
I think so. And this is going to be a fun week, though. There's a few things coming up this week.
It's going to be a fun year.
Fun year, yeah. Very fun 2022. And especially a few things coming up. Bezoge to the moon. I know last week we did mention that there was things coming up in January and we can't talk about. And some people were a bit frustrated in the group, just to clear this up. Some people are a bit frustrated in the group that we say there's things happening and we can't talk about. A lot of the level that we're at now, we're making agreements with people and partnerships with people that we sign NDAs, and we actually just can't talk about it. So I know some people said, hey, we just keep teasing it and not talking about it. It's because we actually legally cannot talk about it. It's not that we don't want to share this information with you guys. A lot of things that we really legally cannot talk about. Otherwise, we would. Okay, Bezoge to the moon, Bezoge mob.
Hey, Jeff, how are you? Hello, everybody. Hey, so I missed a couple of things over the past couple of weeks, but I just didn't know if anybody's touched on. So I guess, the beta's been pushed a little bit. But as far as summoning to get some Bezogies ready for when the beta is released and to get more players involved, is there any information on when we're going to be able to start summoning and really have the availability for the game for when people do start jumping into play?
There's no public information yet. It'll be in Q1. That's all I can say. But with regards to increasing the speed and making sure that there's enough Bezogies for people to play, if we need to ramp up the speed, we'll make it cheaper and we'll make it faster. I think that that's something that we have the flexibility to do. So we'll always ensure that the summoning cost is in line with, and the summoning time, right, the amount of time it takes, is in line with the demand. If there's suddenly a demand for a whole load more Bezogies and we need more, we can always reduce the cost of summoning and reduce the time required in order to summon to speed that process up a bit. So we can be quite flexible and cater to the market demands in that sense, right? Because we don't want to slow down the growth of the game because there's not enough Bezogies. So we can always speed that up.
So you have it where if you see the demand is just out of control, you guys, it's a fairly easy task for you guys to say, let's ramp it up without going through a long process.
Yeah, let's say, for example, let's say the summoning process takes 7 days. Let's say, right? I'm not saying it does, for example, but we see there's a huge demand and there's not enough Bezogies for the amount of players. We could decrease that to 24 hours and do a half price sale or something on summoning. There are a lot of ways that we can speed it up. And I think that's what we'll have to do if the demand is too high. And I do think that it will get to the point that the amount we're optimizing the website to get it all ready for the launch of the game, there should be so much traffic to the website that the demand will be an issue. So we're definitely going to ensure that we have summoning available before the main launch. But on alpha, on beta, for example, on beta we can make summoning very fast because it's all on testnet. So it's not real Bezogies, right? So we can test everything on testnet and have very fast summoning. And begin to test the period of time that summoning requires and the costs and everything, and ensure that it's in line with how we want it to be on mainnet. We have a couple of months to test that.
Awesome. Thank you.
At the same time as testnet, after we've tested it for a certain amount of time and the contracts are all audited and everything like that, then we can roll out summoning on mainnet even while the game is still in beta testing. If that makes sense. So you'll have two simultaneous ways of summoning. One will be on the test net, which is just purely for testing and functionality purposes. And then we'll have the mainnet testing, the mainnet summoning that can be going on at the same time.
It's going to be a learning curve for me, but I'm in.
Testnet is basically just fake data, right? It's just it is exactly that. It's just a carbon copy of whatever is on mainnet that allows people to test the game using the actual blockchain code, but without actually risking any real life tokens. They're all just fake tokens that are on the testnet. They're testnet tokens.
Okay, got it.
It allows us to test the technology in a real world scenario, but without the risk of anything going wrong. Because if anything goes wrong, there's no real money at stake. It's all just test tokens. Yeah, so that's the point of the test net, is to ensure that the blockchain aspect of everything is running smoothly, so that when we do run it on mainnet, there's no issues. And we'll continue to use the test net for future updates. We'll always have beta testing of new updates of the game for a period of time before they get pushed onto mainnet. So even once the main game is on, the testnet version of the game will still be there, because we'll need people to be testing the game in order to make sure it's secure and make sure the new blockchain code is working well before actually pushing it to mainnet. So that process will still be there even after the mainnet game is launched.
That's great. So yeah, that's the test track for before you release it to the public. That's great.
Yeah, this is standard in gaming. I mean, you always release to a set of beta testers before you do the main launch of the game. Any bug fixes or patches, you would always do it to a series of testers first before actually pushing it to the main branch. So it's a standard practice.
All right, let's go.
Thanks,
Let's
Bezogian One. I know
go.
you've changed your name. You were Bezogian One before, but now you're Bezoge to the moon.
No, this is on Twitter. On the Telegram.
Telegram.
Yeah, I changed it. Do you know what I changed it to on Telegram?
I don't remember actually. It's a long one, I think.
Dad, what was it? Bezoge Dad? I forgot what it was. I wanted you to say it.
Bezoge Daddy Warbucks.
Thank you.
Awesome.
One time, Jeff. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Bezoge Daddy Warbucks, for your question.
It made you say it.
He did indeed. Are there any more questions from the community? Everyone's very quiet this week. I'm sure everyone's still recovering from their New Year parties. Usually there's 100 questions. There's a lot of the regular people on here, but no questions. Do you have any questions, Zach?
Because I know it goes, it's not really under any NDA and stuff, but we're expecting a cinematic trailer quite soon. Do we have any exact dates on that, or expected timeline? Would it be this month?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually meant to go over that on the call we had before this. So we have some initial drafts. We have that are to show all the animations and the keyframes of how everything is looking, and it looks really good. We should that is on track. Hopefully, we've been told by the animation team that are working on it that it should be ready by around the end of the month.
And a similar question on maybe the staking contract and maybe the deployment of it.
Staking contract. So the staking contract is actually already coded out. I say that the staking contract itself is actually not coded out yet. There's three aspects of the staking contract. One is the staked Bezoge token contract. One is the block contract. And one is the actual staking contract itself. Now, the reason the block contract is simple. That's done. The staked Bezoge contract is done. Now, that's the one that took the longest. The reason the staked Bezoge contract is very difficult is because we had to create a token contract that pegs the redistribution. So we now have a staked Bezoge token that we've created, which is a version of Bezoge that you get when you stake. And basically it will increase with the same amount that your tokens would increase on Bezoge itself with redistribution, but the token doesn't actually have any redistribution itself. There's no tax, there's nothing on that, on transferring that token, but it increases at the same rate as your Bezoge would increase if you were holding it. So that was a bit tricky to code out. So we've coded that out and we've tested it, and the actual staking contract is the simple part. So that's me and Doglord actually talked to the main blockchain dev about that last week. He said 70% done.
So basically, just sorry, a technical question from what you just said. I would get my redistribution, and I would have certain type of, you can say, LP kind of tokens, which would also enable me to further staking rewards.
Yeah. The reason we use redistribution in order to define how much you get from staking. The more trading volume Bezoge has, the more your APY will be on staking. It's pegged. So the APY is pegged to the trading volume of Bezoge.
Oh, okay. So it's twice the redistribution in a way.
To a certain extent.
But one would be in the form of
we'll announce how it works.
token.
We'll announce how it works when we actually announce staking.
Cool.
We'll put some documentation about it and write an article about it so that everyone is very clear. And then the website will be very clear on exactly how it works, the mechanics, and there'll be an FAQ. Everything will be there.
Got it, man. Thanks for that, Jeff.
Oh, the questions are flowing in now. Oscar, actually, I think you can maybe go through the
It's all about the staking, man. It's all about the staking. Everyone's looking towards the passive income, which is going to be awesome, I think, for Bezoge. And it would definitely reduce the speculating supply.
The beautiful thing about Bezoge is that you basically have it staked just by holding it.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about the redistribution. It's always, you don't actually need to stake it to get any extra value out of it. It's essentially just always staked. There's a defined APY just from holding. So, yeah, but I think let's move on to Oscar. The staking is going to be good because it's essential for the blocks. Oscar, can you go through the Polish boxing event?
Yep. Yeah, so gearing towards us opening kind of doors to new markets, this opportunity came up for Bezoge to become a partner sponsor of a large boxing event within Poland. The event will be January 7th. It will be on Polish national TV live, as well as it will be streamed globally on Fight TV, which is one of the largest fighting streaming services in the world, over 4 million subscribers, paid subscribers. So, don't expect this to be something like a Super Bowl or anything of that sort. Again, we're looking for different avenues and streams to touch within new markets. We think that Poland could be a tremendous market for Bezoge moving forward, being one of the highest growing economies in Europe and so forth. So that'll be January 7th. We'll get you guys a lot more information during the week, and as well as links so everyone can access the event itself. Bezoge will be prominently featured throughout the event, as well as our logo will be the main logo on the fighting ring, which should be pretty cool for everyone to see on TV and so forth. Yep. Any other questions? I'll answer.
Awesome, but yeah, I'm excited for that. It's gonna be fun.
Yep, I think we should expect a minimum few 100,000 new eyes on the project, if not a few million. I know there's a tremendous amount of Polish, maybe celebrities that a lot of the people here don't know, but in Poland they're quite large celebrities, fighting, music stars as well as TV stars. So I think we'll get a pretty nice push in a market that we really haven't touched at all. So we'll see where it goes, and we'll continue to explore these opportunities as time moves on.
Yeah, and I would say this is aligned with what the marketing strategy we have is, which is to go into markets that we know we can completely dominate. So when Bezoge goes into a market, like we won't be focusing on let's say the US as a whole. We will always be focusing on the US as a key market, but we won't be going in to fully dominate that market, because that's just, you have to spend tens or hundreds of millions to do that. But we'll be focusing specifically on markets that we know we can go into, and we can hold the entire market. So like the Philippines, the Philippines, maybe places like Poland, we can go in and we can dominate the entire market for the specific keywords like NFT gaming, these sort of keywords, play to earn gaming, all of these keywords that can bring a lot of traffic to the project. We're going to go in and completely dominate any country that we go into, and that's the goal. So going into a market like Poland is something that is exactly aligned with what we're trying to achieve from the marketing perspective. Just to give everyone a little bit of perspective.
I think as a project, we have to understand that opportunity cost is very important to us at the stage that we are in currently as a project. Like we do not have tens or hundreds of millions of dollars to spend to access some markets such as the United States, just like you mentioned. But we tap into large amounts of new, whether it's investors or players or whatnot. And it's all about the opportunity cost. So we'll see where this goes. I think everyone should be excited because, again, we are gearing towards accessibility of people that really have not seen the project. And I think that's very important. Whether they get involved now, whether they get involved later, just having eyes on the project and more people knowing the name and knowing that we're coming out at some point with our live version of Legends of Bezogia and so forth. I think it's tremendous. It adds, it's a true value add moving forward, and I think at some point it's all going to pay huge dividends for all of us.
Yeah, I would agree. Hey, Paul, did you have a question? Paul? Oh, I made Paul a speaker, and then he's given up. Paul, if you want to put your hand back up, I'll bring you back on. Because you were a speaker there, and then, there you go. But you disappeared for a second.
Others, can you hear me?
Hey, Paul, yeah. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, I just had a question on staking. So is it fair? I know you said you're going to do everything, you're going to have a fact, you're going to update the wiki, and everyone's going to know everything, how it works, and you're going to launch it. So maybe my question's a bit premature. But I think based on what you explained, I stake my blocks, I get a one-to-one relationship. So I stake my Bezoge, so therefore I get a one-to-one relationship. So if I have, say, 10 trillion Bezoge tokens, the entitlement is to receive 10 trillion blocks. Is that sort of something that you could explain, that ratio? Because it's a one-to-one, so I'm assuming...
Yeah, so what you'll get is... can you mute yourself while I speak? Because you have some background
noise. Not me. It's not my background music. It's someone else's, but I can hear. I don't understand why, but I'll mute myself.
You have an echo. There's an echo from your side, though, if you can mute while I answer. So the structure we have for the staking will be something along the lines of this. Not set in stone, but something along these lines, just to give you an idea. This is subject to change. But basically, you'll stake your Bezoge, and instead of getting the redistribution that you would get on Bezoge, you will get blocks to the same dollar amount as that redistribution. So if during the time that you were staking, let's say you stake for 3 months and you've had, like, let's say 5% rewards, right, based on the redistribution, we'll take the dollar value of that and we'll give you a certain amount of blocks based on that, and the redistribution that you would have had will be added to the liquidity pool of the blocks. So the reason that there would be an advantage to this, rather than this saying, why don't I just keep my Bezoge, I get the same dollar amount. One, it's the only way to get new blocks other than playing the game or buying them on the open market. Number two, what we can actually do is give you those blocks at a fixed price. So we can actually set a dollar value for each block, and that is basically becomes the minimum value of that block, right? Because the price of a block should never go below that, because you can always get blocks at that price by staking. And by doing that, we can actually give you essentially a discounted price on blocks at staking. So maybe you're getting your blocks at, let's say you would have had your 5% is worth, let's say, $500. We could give you $500 worth of blocks at 1 cent each. Whereas if you were to go buy them on Uniswap, they might be trading at 3 cents each. Right. So it number one, it allows us to sort of bring a sense of it's kind of like a bond to a certain extent, where there's a sort of floor price for the blocks. And number two, you're getting the blocks most likely cheaper than the open market. Does that make sense? So the APY it will be defined on two things. It will be the trading volume of Bezoge and then the cost of blocks. And we'll give the staking, we'll give you a fixed price of blocks, most likely. This is the way that we think that it can work most efficiently and bring a bit of stability to the block price as well. I'm bringing you back on, Paul, because I know you got disconnected again. Hey, Paul. You're muted, Paul.
Yeah, I was just saying, thanks a lot. That makes sense.
Yeah, okay, good. I know you've sent me a lot of information on how you think these things should work. So hopefully I think this is one of the best solutions that we can come up with, because the easiest way for us to do it is just to give you a one-to-one on what your redistribution would be and just give you it as blocks. We never want to add less liquidity than we're giving out. But the one way we can do that is by having a fixed price for the blocks. And all the redistribution that is within the smart contract of the staking will go into the liquidity of the blocks. So the liquidity pool of the blocks will be constantly increasing. And more Bezoge will be getting locked up into that liquidity pool as well over time. So it's advantageous on both sides. It should bring more stability to the blocks, whilst also decreasing the circulating supply of Bezoge.
Sounds good. I look forward to it. Cheers.
Thank you. The good thing about this staking as well is we have a very fixed. It's a fixed, not necessarily fixed, but there's it's a very interesting way of creating the APY, because the APY will be based on a ratio of the trading volume, the trading volume of Bezoge and the price of the blocks. So it should be very interesting. Right, let me bring in Bezoge holder. Hey, Bezoge holder, did you have a question?
Oh yeah, I was just tuning in. Great AMA, great project, but I just want to let you know that Warren he's not feeling well today, so he's not able to do you know what with us, the group thing. Dog Lord knows about it.
Oh, Doglord, do you know what? I don't know what you're talking about. So maybe
Oh,
I don't even know. It's so top secret that I don't even know.
Oh, okay.
No, you're in the group, Jeff. You've just been busy. Not a problem. You could probably schedule it for some other time.
Yeah, he's just feeling he's been sick for like a week now, so he's not able to like be responsive. His whole family's sick. But
I hope it goes well.
Outside of that, I just wanted to. I don't really have any questions. Everything sounds superb right now. But I just want to let everyone know, you know, we've done a really good job just spreading the word and stuff like that. And I've got a contest going on for some Bezoge gear that I'm going to be purchasing from, what is it, Sundog? Is that who we get our merchandise from?
Yeah, I see Howard. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let everyone know. I've got a post going on right now. If you wanted to share it, you could win. I bought one of the sweatshirts and then 3 hats. So it's up for grabs. It's going to go on for another couple weeks. That's it. Thank you.
I was going to share your post as well on the space.
Thanks for your efforts, dude. It's incredible.
No problem. I try.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right, let me get on to Crick Butcher. That's a cool name. Let me bring on Broadcast Blues at the same time and see if, because Crick is taking a while to connect. Broadcast Blues, are you connected already? If you can speak, then go for it. I know Crick is still connecting. You'll have to unmute yourself, Broadcast.
Oh, I didn't hear you call my name. How are you? I haven't heard from you. You're not in the chat at night.
I know. It's been a bit crazy. I had to take a step back from the Telegram group a little bit because there's too much going on.
All good.
I'm still alive, though. Don't worry. I'm trying to restrict it to more structured communication from our side.
Gotcha.
In terms of the AMA and once a week, and I still come into the community quite often, but I'm always reading the community messages. I'm just not as active. I'm not as vocal. I'm still active. I'm just not as vocal in there as I used to be.
You just don't want to come in and get beat up from us. Nah.
Yeah, I'd rather keep everything structured and answer the questions once a week and keep it to a structured basis so that people,
yeah,
there's a record of all the answers that I give and people can consume that content. If I answer questions in the group, I have to answer the same questions 100 times and people can't take advantage of it, right? So I think if I'm able to answer questions on here once a week in a consumable piece of content that people can all listen to once a week and they know all the answers basically, I think it's more efficient than me answering the same question 100 times in the group a week,
Gotcha. So my question this week is with the server and, swapping over to what you guys are doing, is that pushing the beta back?
It's not pushing the beta back, no. Everything is still on the same schedule as we had before. The reason that we're moving to actually we're doing the dedicated server earlier than we would have. We wanted to use the sort of P2P hybrid method with the new networking in order to just keep continuing with the testing, but there was just too many bugs, and it's going to take us, if we had to actually fix all the bugs on the P2P sort of method before moving directly to the dedicated server, it would cost us a couple of weeks of time, yeah, and it's rather than fix those bugs for something that we're not actually using in the end anyway. Benji is actually, I see Benji putting his hand up to speak because I'm answering questions that he's better at answering. But basically, rather than fix those bugs, which are not actually an issue on a dedicated server, because the issue is the fact that we're not using a dedicated server, we'd rather just get the dedicated server set up as quickly as possible and ensure it runs smoothly on that, and then we don't have to fix the same bugs twice.
So our wallets are not hooked up to the server, is what you're saying. No. Also, because my Bezogies aren't there. Like I'm on the alpha now and I'm playing with one that I made up.
Maybe Benji can give you an answer on that.
Okay. Yeah, for this, that should be fixed soon. That's just like a bug for the Bezogies not appearing in your inventory, but like for the servers, as said before, like it's actually moving pretty much as expected, if not faster, to move to the dedicated servers. But it's just the transition phase that is messy when it comes to the tests. On the back end, actually, it's moving along kind of as we expected, but it's just the transition is quite buggy for the tests.
So they're not at risk also as far as somebody infiltrating the wallet and getting in there or anything like that?
No. So everything that we do, that we do on our side, we only ever get read access to your wallet. We never have any write access, so we don't have access to anything. All we do actually when you log in, literally, all we do is grab your address and confirm that it's yours.
Okay.
That's literally all we do. And then we go to the chain and we actually read your address and we're able to get that information. So we're not actually getting any access to your wallet at all when you log in. All we grab is your address. And we require you to log in so that we can confirm that you actually do own that address.
Because I think there's a concern that, oh, my NFTs may be gone and that kind of stuff.
No, that's not a concern. If you look on Etherscan, it'll be Polygon Scan, you can see your NFTs are not going to be gone.
Yeah, I saw they were there.
Yeah.
That was it. So, all right, open it up to the next one. Thank you.
Thanks, Broca.
Before we take another question, I've got a few questions lined up on YouTube that we should answer.
Okay.
Howard Pollack is asking, how do you protect the investment of the original? They're getting pricey. I think he means the Bezogis.
I'm not exactly sure how to answer that question, because we don't give financial advice on the Bezogis. But I mean, I think what you mean is, how do you protect the investment in terms of ensuring you don't lose money on it? I mean, I think that the mechanics that we're coming up with in the game is the summoning. So if you have original Bezogis and you summon using them, you're going to be basically creating the entire market for Bezogis in the future, because there's going to be a huge demand. The goal for us is to have millions of players, and so if there's millions of players, we need millions of Bezogis, and the only way to create them is by having the originals. So the value of the originals may go down over time, because if you've summoned with them so many times, like we discussed last week on the AMA, but overall your entire portfolio of Bezogis as a whole should go up, and then the passive income that you get from renting those Bezogis out should also be there. So I think you shouldn't need to worry so much about the investment over long term, because as long as you continue to use all the mechanics that we create within the game in order to summon and to create weapons and and to rent them out, there should be income to be had there. But again, we don't give financial advice, and we don't guarantee anything on this. There's always risk with any investment, with any purchase. They're collectibles, and whether they do or do not make money for you is we'll do our best to create the environment and the ecosystem to support that, but we can't make any guarantees that they will make money over time.
We can't comment on the price of the token or the NFTs.
Yeah, we don't comment on it
before I went on to the.
Yeah, but I would say that we will definitely be creating mechanisms and mechanics within the game to the best of our ability to make sure that the NFTs have value within the ecosystem. That does not mean monetary value. I'm just saying they will have value within the ecosystem and within the game, and that may relate to monetary value, but we can't comment on that.
Okay.
The market will decide.
Okay, that kind of answers us. Moving on to the next question by Mikey Mello. How about the business entity? Can you elaborate more on that? Why did you choose to buy? And he asked, does it have anything to do with CZ's decision to with the buy?
We have quite a lot of team members based in Dubai and connections to the banking in Dubai and connections when it comes to setting up the business. Also, Dubai is very crypto friendly. That's why CZ is going there. That's why Binance are going there. United Arab Emirates are opening up quite a bit to crypto, and that's one of the main reasons for why we're setting up the operational entity for the company there. That's the main reason. We looked at a lot of different options, and when it comes to tax, when it comes to being crypto friendly, when it comes to banking and the connections that we have within our team and within our community, Dubai makes the most sense. That's the main reason for being there. It's not because Binance are there. No, that is not. That's a bonus, but yeah, that's not the reason why.
Okay, I guess that answers that question, because there's a few questions, so we should. I'll move on quickly to the next one now. MSI is asking, that name sounds familiar. Okay, will I have to be a part of alpha testing to be able to summon, or will you open up to all Bezoge NFT holders?
All holders.
Okay. And the next question again by MSI.
It was a very quick. It was a very quick answer. But yeah,
Like, you're a community-owned decentralized project. What other answer could you have?
yeah, it's definitely all holders.
Yeah, I've got like 2 more questions lined up. So MSI asked one more question. What's the pay for Bezoge staking?
I went over that in detail already, so I think maybe that question was before I went over detail.
Okay. Another one.
I talked about that for 5 minutes, so I think we already went over that.
Okay. There's another question by Jesus Huerta. Hope that pronounced that right. We could see one of the Globe Soccer Awards that could we see the Globe Soccer Awards and what the metrics were of the viewers, whether it was pointing to countries like Philippines or was it mostly Dubai, USA?
I would have to. I'll get our marketing guy to look into it. We do have access to a lot of the data. I've not personally looked through it, but I know our marketing guy and Oscar definitely looked through that. They've been working closely with Globe Soccer.
While we were there, they did a Fan Player of the Year award where they hosted the vote live on TikTok, and around 200 million votes from all over the world came in a matter of a few minutes. So I think the reach was pretty global to almost every soccer fan out there watching.
Yeah,
I agree. Globe Soccer was a really good. It had a very good outcome.
Yeah. So,
for the project.
in regards to the statistics, I think we can actually get the stats from Globe once to see where their viewership was at. But I know that we're actually starting to track our viewership in terms of our websites and so forth more directly on a daily basis. So I think we're going to be able to have those statistics fairly soon. But I don't think we correlated any statistics with Globe yet. That's actually a great point. I think maybe we'll get in contact with them today and see where their viewership was at.
Yeah, we certainly know where our traffic came from on the days that we saw a significant uptick in traffic to the website, about 300-400%. The traffic to the website went up in the 3 days surrounding the event. So there was a significant uptick. We also saw a huge increase in holders, and the community was more active. There was a lot of new community members coming in. So it definitely did great things for the project, and it gave us a lot of content that we could push that we can still push in the future, right? We have a lot of great content from the event with some high-profile players like Lewandowski and with Mbappe specifically. But yeah, we do internally know exactly where the traffic came from, and we do have access to the Globe Soccer data. I don't think we would make that public though. But internally, we know, and we can take advantage of it and make sure we move in the right direction using that data.
Okay.
Let me get Crick on. Crick has been waiting for a while. Let me see if I can get Crick on first before you do the next question. Don't worry. He was connected before and then got disconnected before he managed to ask a question. But he's connecting again. Actually, go for the question, Doglord, while we wait for him to connect.
So this one comes from the Spanish community. It was supposed to have at this time, according to the website and the milestones of Q4, 60,000 holders. Is there any other action that the team are taking apart from marketing to achieve that? I guess that's the question.
I mean, it's very hard for us to control the holders. The holders, yeah. The amount of holders we have is very hard for us to control, other than to continue marketing and to spread the word about our project. So not necessarily. I mean, we're hiring. We're doing everything we possibly can to develop the project. We're setting up legal entities. We're currently refurbishing a full new office that's more than double the size of the current office. We are scaling up in every way that is humanly possible. We're bringing on incredible people to help with the game development. Like I said earlier, we have Sylvain starting that has previously worked on Game of Thrones and World of Warcraft, building their quest system. We have best in class when it comes to SEO and marketing and digital marketing, with Shahid coming in as CMO. We have a lot of things that we are doing, not just marketing, but building up the team, making partnerships with the right people. Again, a lot of those things are NDAs. I can't talk about them. There's a lot of partnerships going on behind the scenes, bringing on people and team members and building essentially what we believe to be a best-in-class team to ensure we can develop this product to be better than any other product that is on the market. And I think it's quite clear that we've done very well with the game so far, and the feedback has been incredible, but we're just getting started. The whole website will be overhauled. Every single thing from marketing will be tracked that with enterprise level of tracking and quality within the team. Everything we're doing, everything we are doing is geared towards increasing holders, but hitting that target, I think
it's also an external factor, right? So you also need to consider the micro and the macro market conditions when it comes to holders as well. Not to mention that when we dropped the white paper, there was a kind of a, I wouldn't call it a bear cycle, but it was a correction phase of the market where there was not many people willing to come into the crypto at that point. So
what I would say is the project from when we created that website and the white paper, the project has evolved significantly, and we do need to make a significant update to that. And along with updating the website over the next that we're working on, that's one of the main things that we are working on internally. There's 3 or 4 people working on just getting the website rebuilt and redesigned. That will involve a full refresh of all the milestones and all the targets, more aligned with how the project has developed since then. It's a bit out of date, and we've not had time to get around to updating it yet because we've just been working so hard on actually executing rather than updating the execution plan. But yeah, I think
yeah, that answers.
I think it's outdated. I think it's outdated, and it will be updated over the next month or so.
No, it's important. It's important to understand that the scale of the game now and the exposure it requires is much bigger than what people look at crypto projects as a comparison. That just need to have a website there as a button on CoinMarketCap or maybe even on DexTool. So I appreciate the efforts that I've seen so far when it comes to building this enterprise grade website. And I think the inclusion is very important. The amount of millions of peoples that we keep giving impressions out to, yeah, it needs a good landing place to come. I think quality takes time, man. So boys, just let's keep going at it.
Yeah, the website, you'll be shocked. I mean, there will basically be any single question that you can possibly think of about our project. There'll be an entire web page for it that will answer it. Much like you would have that on all these enterprise level websites. They have hundreds and hundreds of pages that just tell you about, any question that you could possibly ask. There is a page on the website about that. That's the sort of level of website that we are building out here. And it will also have the full new plan of how we plan to execute the project. Right, Crick, I'm going to try and get Crick on one more time, but every time he doesn't seem to be able to connect. I'm going to get EG on in the meantime, because he comes on every week and usually doesn't have connection issues. I think Crick is having issues getting connected. Hey, EG.
Hey, how you doing? I just have a question.
Good.
About are you guys gonna do any more burn?
People ask this question a lot. We've said this publicly before. We will never burn tokens ourselves. That's not something that we would do. It's literally just burning money. But built into the tokenomics of the token, there is a burn on every transaction. So 1% of every transaction will be burnt forever. So the amount of burn that there is will constantly be increasing. So more and more tokens will be burned every single day. If you look at, let's say today, I don't know the transaction volume today, but let's say it's $1 million. If there's $1 million of daily volume, then there's going to be $10,000 burnt on a daily basis of Bezoge. So that's just how it works. That's the only way we'll ever have burn. Will also have burn within the summoning. So there's a summoning cost that will be paid in Bezoge. That will be burn.
Even if we go on a bigger change, is the burn is still gonna work?
The burn is always happening. The burn happens on any transaction that is done on chain. Transactions that happen on exchanges will not have a burn. Only DEX trades and DEX transfers. Not DEX transfers, just on-chain
The deposits
transfers.
and the withdrawals in the chain, in and out of the exchange, will have the burn though.
Exactly. Anytime that there is an on-chain transaction, so anything that actually happens on-chain will have a burn. At any transfer, buy or sell on a, so you transfer to another wallet, there's a 2% tax on the transaction, 1% is redistributed, and 1% is burnt. And then the same on any buys or sells, because basically a buy or a sell is also a transfer when it comes to on-chain. So those three things will be having burn. So anytime you're transferring to an exchange or withdrawing from an exchange, there will be a burn. And also when you're buying or selling on a decentralized exchange like Uniswap or 1inch, there will be a burn. But when you're doing trades, buying or selling on an exchange, a centralized exchange, there won't be any burn.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. But yeah, we never, as a project, we will never just send any tokens to the burn address because we're strongly against that. It's literally burning money, and it's not advantageous for anyone.
Well, just for current stats, we have 56% of the supply sitting in our burn dead wallet.
Yeah, and we started off at 50%. So since we launched the token, 6% has been burnt. And that's in a year without the game being launched and with relatively low volumes for about 4 or 5.
But I also think more number of tokens were burnt because values were lower at that time. So there was more number of Bezoge tokens going into every transaction. And as values have increased, now the amount of Bezoge token itself is also reducing in burn.
Yeah, because the amount of transferring is going down. People are spending less and less tokens for larger dollar amounts. Yeah, that's how it works.
Correct.
Okay, let me move on to Chris. Oh no, baby elephant. Oh, I see baby elephant's picture is with the Bezoge bros. The Bezoge brothers, I should say. Sorry, the Shiba brothers.
Yo, what's good? What's good? Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I got a question. It's for Benji. Can you follow me back, man? I just want you to follow me. And
this guy, bro. Sorry, man. I've been banned from humor, so I like that, man. I like it when community people come in and keep it lighthearted.
Yeah.
I'm sure Benji can follow you back.
That'd be cool. That would make my day.
Okay.
Hey, I'm actually about to go test this in a little bit. They said it was kind of laggy, but I don't know. The game.
Yeah, the new servers have a little bit of teething issues, as we would call them.
Yeah.
But it should be fine.
All right, for sure.
Benji's on. I think Doglord is playing right now as we speak. I'm not.
I'm having the game's updating, so I'm not playing actually right now.
Yeah, I can't multitask. So.
Benji's coming online. I just added him in.
All right, for sure. But have a good day, y'all.
Thanks, man. Benji, make sure you follow him back on Twitter. Otherwise, he's going to be very sad. All right, let me get on to Chris.
Benji is becoming popular.
Benji's a popular man. That's why he's even got a picture of a cat as his profile picture.
Everyone wants to.
That actually makes you popular.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris, did you have a question? Benji, make sure you follow back Web3 Wizard.
Sure. I'll follow him now.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, yeah, I had two questions for you. One, on the website, do we have is that end of January as well for the, launch of the new website?
We don't have an external timeline yet. Internally, we have a timeline that we're working to, and once we have a launch date, we'll announce that. But there's no external timeline yet.
Okay, and then the other question was staking. So if I understood correctly, we will not lose the 2% tax going in or out of the staking pool, right?
You will.
Okay, gotcha. All right, those are my questions. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, let me get on to Jonathan. Jonathan Kwok. Are there any more questions on YouTube or Twitch, Douglas?
Yes, there are. Wilzian is asking, is there an insurance to staking in case of hacking attacks? Will there be a 2% burn on transaction for staking? That was just answered. What's the ETA for beta? That's also been answered. But yeah, his question is there an insurance to staking?
The staking contract will be audited, hopefully by CertiK. If we can get CertiK to audit it, then we'll get CertiK to audit it. We'll do extensive testing to make sure it's secure as well. It should be. We won't launch a product that is not secure. With regards to insurance, we've not actually looked into that. That may be something that we could look into in terms of the staking contract. But again, there are ways that we can develop a contract in order to be 100% secure. Unless the chain that we're running on it is not secure, but we're running on Ether, so the chances of, Ether getting hacked is very, very low. But we can look into insurance, Douglas. That's something we should actually look into if we're launching, because there will be millions of dollars staked on there, most likely, and it would be good to be able to offer some sort of insurance on behalf of the users. But I don't know if that's something that's even possible. But we can look into that internally.
Insurance is possible on DeFi protocols and staking protocols.
Yeah.
I could look into that part. It's a good idea.
Yeah, let's look into that. I actually think Matt might be able to give us some advice on that. I can see him at the top of the listeners here, staring at me. There's a big smile on his face. We can see. We'll look into that. It's a good question.
Without saying much, actually, we're in touch with the company, but I'll message you guys later. I think it could happen. The insurance could happen through there.
Yeah, I also think it's possible. It's just a case of we need to look into the logistics of it, the costs and the viability of it, and what we could offer for the people that are staking. Hey, Jonathan, did you have a question?
Oh, hi. Good morning, everyone. I got a question about summoning Bezoge. Is there any difference between an original Bezoge compared to one that's been summoned?
Okay, there will be. We've not announced what it will be exactly yet, but there will be some sort of, most likely, again, not confirmed yet, most likely a small stat boost for the originals. And also, definitely, they will have some sort of unique characteristic within the game, like maybe an aura, maybe something above your head to show that you have an OG.
A halo?
Yeah, a halo, yeah. Something along those lines. There will be something that is definitive to show that your Bezoge is an OG. So yes, definitely. So physical attributes, like aesthetic attributes, there will be something, and there will also be a small stat boost.
All right, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Be nice if they have a big shiny bling ring on their finger.
Right, Crick, I'm going to try one last time to try and get you in to ask a question. It says you can now speak. And are there any more questions on Doglord on YouTube or anything? Oh, there's Crick, finally. You managed to get it to work. Yes, we can hear
Okay,
you.
great. So my question has to do with like stats. Are you guys going to implement something with like different skills and stats, like level 1 through 99? You know, maybe you're training attack, or maybe you're training something other than summoning. Like, are you going to have other skills than just summoning and, you know, fighting?
So, yeah, there will be other skills like spells. There will be the main way that we want you to increase your attributes though will be by, we may have bolt-ons, like, so you may be able to mint NFT sort of bolt-on characteristics that you can merge into your Bezogi. Does that make sense? You can like add it on and it'll be fixed on there forever.
Yeah, interesting.
To increase skills, maybe certain spells or different characteristics that you're able to add on. That'll be a little bit later down the road. But the main way that you can actually level up your character is using items. So sort of like you would do on something like Zelda, right? You increase your health, you increase all of your characteristics by wearing different clothing and by having different items, right? So that's the way that we see you leveling up your character.
Okay, so your character will have a different rank compared to other people.
Yeah, but it'll be based on the items that you have, that you're wearing.
Okay.
If you're wearing like, you know, the best outfit and you're using the best sword or the bow and arrow, whatever it is, then you're going to have higher stats than other players.
Okay. I have one other question. What is the difference between the age of the Bezogis? So is the baby going to be different from the elder Bezogi?
I mean, in alpha testing, they all have the same stats, but we will give them. We will in beta testing, we're going to test it out, and we'll probably give them slightly different stats. But we want to keep it as fair as possible. We don't want any of the ages to be overpowered or anything like that. So we will keep them very similar. But what we may do is they all have a strength. You know what I mean? Each one would have a certain strength, so that they're all a little bit more overpowered on a certain attribute, maybe, or a couple of attributes, right? So that each one will be slightly different, but equally as strong, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. That's all I got, guys. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for the question. Thanks for being persistent. It took a while to manage to get you on as a speaker.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
No problem. Right, if there's no more questions, I think we can
answer one more question out of YouTube, and because there's quite a few, but we could
answer.
also.
There's more.
It's getting
There's more
a little
questions
late
on YouTube.
Yeah.
If there's more questions on YouTube, we can answer them. But I think we have to end it in a minute because it's after 1 a.m. here.
We know. So Mikey Mello is asking another question. We know exchanges such as Coinbase and Binance have NDAs in place, but can we expect a major exchange without naming names this year?
Yes.
Expect is a no, Zach straight in with the yes.
Definitely. I mean, we want to increase our ecosystem. It's every crypto project's plan to keep on spreading their liquidity out to the maximum number of users. But yeah, sorry, Jeff, you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be quite as direct. I wouldn't say use the word expect, but I would say we are certainly working very hard on it. And we have literally one or two people within the team. Mike, and a lot of people know who Mike is from the community. I don't know if he's listening here, but one of the things that he's the main person working on exchange listings, and so you guys know, we have calls and we have Telegram groups with a lot of exchanges right now. We're in talks with a lot of exchanges. We have calls every week. I think I have 2 or 3 calls this week just with different exchanges, top tier exchanges, mid tier exchanges. We are constantly in conversations with exchanges, and we're going with the ones that want to work with us and give us the best deal. We're not in a rush to suddenly list on a load of exchanges to get some sort of price action. we are choosing exchanges that we believe are actually going to bring the best value for the project. And if we believe we're being overcharged, we don't necessarily just go and work with these exchanges right away. We're not in a rush because we know that our project is going to be in a much better place in a few months' time when the game is launched. And we're planning things strategically so that we don't waste budget on exchange listings that we know we could get for a significantly lower price later down the line. So, but yes, the answer is we are working very hard on exchange listings. There may be some exchange listings, hopefully sooner rather than later.
I also think this leads up to someone else's previous question about the incorporation of the entity in Dubai. And I think since that happened and we received the permission to have ourselves licensed properly, I think it's also encouraged a lot of trust and confidence. So it's not only exchanges, I think you can expect a lot of ecosystem partnerships coming up this year.
Yeah, having the entity was a requirement of a lot of exchanges. And now that we have the actual entity, the operational entity for the game and for the project, it opens a lot of doors when it comes to exchanges. Okay, let me get EG for one last question, and then we can wrap it up. Are there more questions on YouTube, Doglord, or is that it?
There are a few.
Yeah, let EG ask one more question, and then we'll do a couple questions from YouTube, and we'll wrap it up. Hey, EG.
Hey, I'm sorry I came back. I just want to say, I want to thank Carrie and Bezoge Holder for all the work they do on Twitter, and you guys as well. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Twitter has been growing extremely fast, actually. I think I looked 2 days ago and we had 15.5k followers. Now we have 16.1k. It's growing extremely fast. That's in 2 days. Actually, no, it was yesterday. It was 15.5. So it's grown 600 followers since yesterday. So it's great.
No, it's also incredible the number of Bezogis and Bezogians out there and the number of people from the communities of crypto. I've noticed certain influential members. And when I say influential, I don't see either it's 2,000 or 50,000. It's just like, people that are in the ecosystem talking crypto and a lot of people coming in, latching on, talking about Bezoge. And that's really improved. It's gone up a lot organically.
Yeah. Okay, let's get the last couple of questions, Doglord, from YouTube, and then we can wrap it up.
Yeah, you could get. Let me just look at what's up next. Okay, Elisa Plays asked, I haven't played the game yet, but do you have an ability to use key bindings for skills?
Yes. We have custom key bindings within the game. You can choose. You can set what any button on your keyboard will do within the game. You can set that.
Okay. There's another question being asked. This is an easy one again by Lisa Place, since we're on her. Will there be a PvP only rewards or PvP only items?
PvP only, more than likely, yes. We have a lot of things that we're doing with PvP, so definitely there will be PvP only items. And there would the answer is yes. There will be PvP rewards that you can get the only way to get them will be from PvP. Again, there'll be rewards that you can only get from certain quests. Yes is the answer to that question. PvP only items, I'm not 100% sure. Actually, yes, I can answer that. I already know one PvP only item, and I think Doglord knows the one that it is as well. It's a fantastic one. There will be some PvP only items. We've actually already shown you some PvP only items. You just don't know that there are PvP only items yet.
I was actually thinking, even myself, I didn't even understand that question well enough, but
No, Doglord knows what it is, I think. You're all good.
I gotta think about it. I don't know which one exactly, because I've seen so many.
Okay, any more questions?
We have Saita Bay asking over here, requesting a question in T.
Okay, let me get these. Let me get these two in, and we can wrap up then. These will be the last two. So Saita Beast and I think it's Saita Beast.
Yeah, hi guys.
And T. Hey, Saita Beast.
I just wanted to ask you, what's up with the meme zone? I used to see back in May on the roadmap. I don't see any more talks about that. Is there anything happening with meme zone, or what's it about?
We'll make an update about that over the next few weeks. Once we launch the new website, we'll make an update.
So it's basically still there in the roadmap, right?
It's currently still there in the roadmap.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Thank you, guys. You guys are doing amazing, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the 2022 Bezoge. Really excited towards a lot of those things happening.
There's a lot happening in 2022. AT.
Oh, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. So I do have a question, but it's regarding the NFTs. So recently, I bought one of the Bezoge pets, and I noticed on Opensea that there is a duplicate pet owned by someone else. So it has the exact same, but it's also has the exact same number. And I was just a bit confused because I was wondering, well, how many pets are there? Why does it have the same number? And what are you entitled to in terms of copyright, licensing agreements?
I can answer that question. So the reason that there are duplicates of the pets, and in fact, the reason that the pet Zogis exist is because there were duplicates. So some of the people that are newer to the community may not know this, but I know a lot of the people that were here at the time will be aware. The pet Zogis are actually the original Bezogis. So we launched the Bezogis, and we found a small bug in the code, in the smart contract, that allowed duplicates. There was an issue with the indexing of the IDs within the code, which literally it was one line of code that we had to change to fix the whole problem. And what we did at the time was we allowed everyone to keep the Bezogis that they already had, and we airdropped them new Bezogis. But what we did was we turned the previous Bezogis into pet Zogis. So rather than just have people having all these NFTs that were useless, we turned it into something more positive and turned it into pet Zogis. So that's why there are duplicates of pet Zogis. There's 4,096 pet Zogis, but there are duplicates. So that's a known issue, and the reason is because of that small bug that we found in the code that allows the duplicates.
Okay. Well, and my other question, but let's say there were a lot of money in the future, hopefully, and I sell mine. Couldn't he argue that he had the original one and mine's a duplicate or a copy, and he has the original Bezoge? So from a legal point of view, could there be an issue?
There's no such thing as an original. There's no such thing as an original or a non-original within the pet Zogis, but there may be two or three. There could even be three actually, or four with exactly the same number. That would be exactly the same pet. There's no original. They're all equal in terms of their originality.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jet, but the original token ID itself would be different. It would just be the Bezoge number.
Yeah, the token. Each one has its own different token ID, which is completely unique. It goes from 0 up to 4,095, I believe.
Yeah, that's why I was confused when the number is the same as well. It's like number 2783 or something, and his is also the same.
But your token ID would be different. If you look at the URL on Opensea at the end, that has your token ID.
Okay.
On Opensea, when you open up your NFT, the end of the URL, there's a number. It should be something between 0 and 4,095.
So the tokens are still unique.
Yeah, the tokens are still unique. It's just that the metadata is duplicated.
Okay, well that's clear enough at least.
If I had a set of twins, I would hold on to them because I think that's like the most rare thing in the collection.
Yeah, I don't do the other one yet.
My brother has a purebred gold bull that is a twin with Matt. Matt has the other purebred gold bull. So there's two people within the community of the purebred gold bulls. That is a twin.
He's such a nice guy. Even though the NFTs, he ended up getting a Bezoge. It was a pure gold.
Yeah.
Okay. And one other thing, can you use the Bezoges in the game, or how are they used, or what are
You
they?
can. Over the next few weeks, we'll implement an update that will allow you to have at least a basic implementation of the Bezoges within the game. They'll be able to follow you around and give you a small stat boost. And
So
we'll constantly be adding more functionality to the Bezoges as well within the game.
Okay, you'll need an original Bezoge to play, and then the Bezoge will follow you around. Is that what it is here?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, and can you rent him out as well, or lease them?
In the beginning, there's no plan to allow you to rent out the pets. They're more collectibles.
Okay.
But maybe in the future we'll add that functionality if it's required.
Okay.
There'll be no summoning or breeding of Bezoges either.
Okay, that's all my questions. Anyway, thanks for the answers.
No, thank you very much. Good questions. I think that will wrap it up for the first AMA of 2022. I think we can wrap it up there. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll see you next week. Doglord, if you have anything to say.
No, I just want to thank everyone and wish everyone again a happy new year. Hope. Yeah,
happy new year, and hopefully there should be some updates this week from our side. There should be some things going on, and we'll keep you guys updated on everything that's coming. But please keep an eye on the Twitter, keep an eye on the Discord and Telegram groups. There should be. Hopefully, we'll have some things to tell you this week. Okay, guys, we'll see you next week.
Everyone have a great 2022. Bye-bye.